This set is really fun. They said they're not going to patch until the server goes live, or the set goes live. I'm really worried about that. This would be a terrible first patch for the set to launch on. And like, obviously it's not going to be this bad, but I'm worried that they like might overcorrect something, and then there's going to be like a new line of like really overpowered units and a new line of units that are completely useless. For those of you that came here recently, my biggest complaint about the current patch, I love the set. The current patch though, half of the units are unclickable. Like here, if I just like go through this list right now, I can tell you guys every unit that you should just never click. You should never click a Nivea or a Lowy, unless you're playing Bilgewater. Bilgewater is actually kind of playable. You should never play Jhin. Kog'Maw is almost useless. Like, you can play him if you're going to play Void and you're going to commit to it. But like, if you play Kog'Maw 2 itemized with synergies, you will always lose to anyone who clicks like a real unit. Real unit being like a real early game unit, like a 2-star Kiana, 2-star Jarvan, 2-star Briar, 2-star Viego. These guys are actually good. But yeah, so going back to the useless units, you got a Nivea. Caitlyn's pretty bad except for the fact that she activates Piltover. So you usually use Briar for only Piltover. Alawi pretty bad unless you're playing exactly Bilgewater vertical. Lulu's really, really bad. Shen's really, really bad because Ionia is unplayable. Sona's really, really, really bad. And then going on to the 2 costs, I can tell you right now, Graves and TF are like pretty unclickable except for the early game. Let's see, Ashe is also fairly bad. I really like the Ashe Shinra build, but the conditions to get it are too narrow. Echo's actually kind of good. Sion's kind of good in the right circumstances. Tristana's unplayable. Xinjiao and Yasuo are pretty unplayable. Going to the 3 costs, Ahri is unplayable because Ionia is a terrible trait now. Maybe this one's not so bad. Vayne's unplayable. I think most of the 3 costs have a playable spot. Going on to the 4 costs, Fizz is unplayably bad. Wukong's unplayable. Yone is unplayable. Yunara is unplayable. And you might be thinking this isn't that bad, but like, consider a lot of the 4 costs are unlockable. It doesn't leave you with that many choices of things to hit. I just played, what, 7, 8 games against the best players in the world, right? This is Project PBE. I'm playing against people that like are like 1200 LP plus. People that have played in world championships for TFT. People who play in their region's regionals. Pros from all across the world. And how many times do you see any of them play Fizz? I'm fairly certain it was 0 if you look through the VOD. Maybe there was like one guy who randomly had a good Yordle tempo opener, and then he just like sold the Fizz later. But it was basically 0. How many Yunaras and Wukongs did you see? 0. How many Yones and Yasuos did you see? 0. How many sets did you see? 0. How many Sinjids did you see? How many times did you see Singed, Swain, Seraphine? Every game, 4 times per game. And the only reason it was 4 is because the 5th, 6th, and 7th people couldn't have hit him because they're all out of the pool. So again, I have to always make this distinction. I'm not expecting perfect balance. I understand that like there's just so many variables. And I'm not even upset that the current patch is frustrating. I'm just worried that when the set launches, not all of it's going to be able to be fixed. I feel like Riot should not leave this patch up for 1 week and then just make one giant patch and then say, here's the set. Good luck, everybody. I feel like they should have done like a couple smaller patches to like fine-tune the balance leading into the set launch. Remember that set 12 Syndra fiasco where like every single high elo lobby was 5 players playing Syndra? Maybe 6? And then 4 of them top 4ing? Go for 5 cost? Oh, yeah, you want me to tell you which 5 costs are playable? Annie's basically always useless, except for very, very narrow conditions. Fiddlestick's pretty good. Aatrox's really good. Mel's really good. Kindred's really good. Ornn is unplayable unless you get him super early. Set is completely unplayable. Like, there's a reason why in all of my games today you saw 0 people playing it. Ryze is unplayable. You can play him, but he's so weak. He is much weaker than like 2-star 4 costs right now. Unless you like really play around him with your emblems, and I've seen 0 people in any of my lobbies make it work. Even when people got like the trait tree, they just didn't play Ryze. They just played other things because he's that bad. I think Sylas is not terrible, but for how much effort it takes to get him, I don't think it's like worth it. I've hit him a couple times in my games today, and I just like immediately lost anyway. Other win cons are a lot stronger. TX is really bad. Tom Kench is really bad. Thresh as an unlockable is pretty good. Volibear is good. Xerath's good. I've seen 0 people play Ziggs, but I'm not even sure if I'd say he's bad. We might have actually just like not seen him because nobody had a spot for him, but I feel like he might be okay. I think Zillion's like below average. Zillion like is like the final invoker. I feel like there's room to play some sort of cool board with Zillion, Lissandra, and then you play like Braum for Warden. You play Braum for Warden, you play Sejuani for Defender, and then you can kind of connect it to the good old Piltover duo, Loris Vi. There's room to like build something cool off of this. But in general, Zillion's damage is just like really low compared to other optimized builds. I mean, it should be low because his gimmick is that he throws bombs and they can like delete people. If you ever see like a 25,000 HP Scion, the only way to really one-shot that is through a Zillion bomb. So like he does have some power. He also like gets you to level 10. So I wouldn't say he's terrible, but I think he's below average. And just so we're clear, when I say units are unclickable, that is different from being below average. Below average is like, okay. It's like you get him early or you get like a 2-star earlier than normal. I'm down to play a below average unit. I'm not down to play an unclickable unit. And that is all of Ionia. Unfortunately, because the boss is so much fun, but he's unclickable. What about Zaheen? I've never played him. The conditions are too narrow. You're forced to play Ionia, and Ionia sucks. Is it just me, or did you say almost all the 5 costs are bad? I definitely did not say all the 5 costs are bad. The reason why you might have thought that is because I was labeling the ones I thought were bad. I didn't label the ones I thought were good. I can label the ones that I think are good for you. I mean, Baron Nashor was kind of crazy. We just auto won the game, but that's quest locked. Azir is in general really good if you have HP and can play into Shurima. Fiddlesticks is generally quite flexible if you're playing Mbessa. Mel is insane and game winning. Shyvana is a good juggernaut to flex in. Ornn can be played situationally if you have a lot of HP as a win con. That's how I won this game. I got an early Ornn and I played it while I still had HP. And then the Flicker Blade ended up helping me beat 10 Noxus. Kindred is generally quite good. Her ult can randomly change fights. Lucian is so strong that people will slot him in. Lucian and Senna. For some reason over here it just says Lucian and. I guess Senna didn't make the cut. Lucian and Senna is so strong that people play him no gunslinger. Thresh is good if you happen to be going through the Shadow Isles route. Volibear is a really, really good endgame tank. Xerath tends to one-shot entire boards. Yeah. So, like, I'm not saying every single 5 cost sucks. I was just labeling the ones that suck. And you probably heard me say, like, 8 different units suck, and you thought I said everyone sucks. Oh, it's Justin. Thanks for 38 months. What about Aatrox? I think he's okay. He got properly nerfed. I think a lot of the units are okay. I think Aatrox is okay. I think Annie is below average, maybe playable in the right spot. I think Galio is pretty weak for how much effort it takes to get him. Brock is insanely overpowered. T-Hex I haven't experimented with much, but generally I think 6 Piltover is a scam. There might be some crazy play. There might be a really good route that someone can find out later. Ziggs and Zillion I think are both below average. What's Brock's unlock? You have to get 500 Ixtal. But usually if you get him, you win. I was really surprised that guy got Brock, and then I beat him. But I guess I did have Baron Nashor too, and I did beat 10 Noxus, so maybe my board was just crazy. What do you think they should do with Rise? Is it back to level 8 unlock? I think level 9 unlock is good. I think he should just be a little bit stronger now. It's going to be really hard because they're probably going to be in this spot where it's like, if they buff him by 20%, he's like too weak still, and people don't want to play him. If they buff him by like 25%, he's too strong. And like everybody's playing him all the time now. Like, Riot does do a pretty good job with balancing. This game is just really, really hard to balance. They do put in a good effort. I respect them a lot for taking on that job of trying to balance. Like, an example I always tell people in my chat is the Xayah incident, where Xayah was a 4-cost 80 carry, like range carry that built Ginsu's and like Giant Slayer and IE or something. She was a 4-cost carry in set 7.5, and then they changed her from like 52 AD. She was at 52 AD, people were like, "Oh, she's useless," and then they buffed her to 55 AD. Right? That is a 2% increase in power from 52 to 55. Wait. No, hang on. 6%. That is a 6% buff. Right? Which is not a lot. It's a 6% buff in power to Xayah. And then she was like every single game through it contested. So the point I'm trying to say here is like they have to get so close. There's some hypothetical perfect number for Rise or for any unit really, and they have to get so close to that number or else it's going to be like a massive balance fiasco. Right? They'll probably take a stab at it. They'll probably buff them by a little bit and then like hope it's the right amount. And they're probably, if I had to guess, Rise probably going to be on the more conservative side of it. They're probably going to do like a 10% buff to Rise. And then my guess is he'll still be underplayed, and then they'll do like a 5% buff. And they'll eventually get it right, but it'll take some patches. But yeah, so that's my current thoughts on the set. Balance, praying that it'll be fixed. Game design, really fun. As much as I was frustrated about the games I had today in the challenger lobbies, like I still just really like playing the game. It's the only time in TFT history where like I stream TFT, I end my stream, I watch my friends play TFT, I go to bed like thinking about when I can play TFT again. I literally fell asleep in bed on my phone on watching my friend Discord stream a game of TFT to me. Yesterday after I finished my stream, I just got on Discord with my friends and just like watched them play for about 4 hours and just backseated them. And then I went to bed backseating. This game is really fun. They really did cook with this set. Fingers crossed for a good first patch. And a successful BoxBox bootcamp. Don't you get burned out from playing that much PvE before the set release? Yes, but also, this is unfortunately the only way you can have a chance to compete. I'm not saying I'm going to compete, but if I happen to randomly be good enough, I'd like to compete. The truth is, if you don't spend 8 hours a day practicing PvE and studying, you will fall behind the people that did do it. Yes, you are going to burn out really early by doing it, but it's the only way you can have a chance to compete. There's just no way you can pull off like a big pivot on the first patch if you didn't play like 50 reps of Fast 9 pivots on PvE. So yes, to answer your question, I will probably burn out really early. But I just got to try it because I want to see if I can be good at this game.